We're going to solve the word problems using law of sine and law of cosines. Of course, you can use sine, cosine, tangent ratio if it's a right triangle. So for this question, as you walk on the straight level path towards the mountain, so I guess here's the mountain, the measure of the angle of the elevation to the top, the peak from one point is 36. So this is 36 degrees. And from a point 800 feet closer to the mountain, so this distance is 800 feet, now the elevation, angle of elevation changes to 40. Obviously, if you get closer to the mountain, the angle will increase, right? The angle of elevation will increase. So it's asking what the height of the mountain is. What would you do? First of all, you need to understand whenever they ask for a height, it has to be a perpendicular distance. So this is a right triangle. But we don't have enough information to just use SOHCAHTOA here. So what can you do? First, figure out all the measurement that you can find. If this is 40, what would this angle be? Right, this is linear pair, so 180 minus 40 is 140. Anything else? Right, if you have two angles on a triangle, you can get the third angle by subtracting from 180. So 180 minus 140 is 40, minus 36 is 4 degrees. So then what can you do? For this case, if you find this length right here, we can call it x. If you find this, you have this angle, and since we are looking for the opposite of this, and if you find the hypotenuse, you can use sine to solve for height, right? So then how do you find the length of x? Law of sine. Why? Do you see how you have a matching side and angle? 4 and 800. And this side will be going with opposite to this angle, 36. So you can use the law of sine. So sine of 4 degrees, the corresponding side to angle 4, the opposite side was 800. And sine of 36 is opposite to x, which you're looking for, the hypotenuse of this right triangle. Right? I mean, there's multiple ways to do it. You can use a system of equation, but it's much longer and complicated, so you can use law of sine. So then what do? You cross multiply these two. So I get 800 sine of 36 degrees equals to x times sine of 4. So then you divide it by sine of 4 from both sides to get x. Yeah, please take a calculator. So 800 sine of 36, press enter. Divide by sine of 4. So I get x equals to 6740.997. 6740.997 feet. So are we done? Was that the question you're asking to solve for? No, you're looking for the height. So now you can just look at this right triangle, right? So I have this angle right here. So this is opposite and hypotenuse. So O and H, you use sine. So sine of 40 equals to opposite, which is the height of the mountain, over hypotenuse, which we just found. So then, what do? Just one last step. You cross multiply. Multiply these two. So height becomes, use the exact answer, guys, right? So it's this times sine of 40. So you get 4333.030. 4333.030. 030. This is, and it is in feet. So 4,333 feet. It's pretty high. Okay. Number 2. Any questions? Number 2. How long is the base of an isosceles triangle if each leg is 40 centimeter long and each base angle has a measure of 21? So it's asking for the length of the base, which has to be this x. And what was given? Each leg. These two are 40 centimeters, 40, and angles are 21 degrees. So what would you do? Yeah. Find the corresponding angle to x, which is 180 minus 42, which is 138. So this is 138. So here you can use law of sine and law of cosine because you have a matching sides and angle for law of sine. And you also have side, angle side, so you can also use law of cosine. This time let's use law of cosine because I'm sure you guys are good at law of sine, so let's practice with law of cosine. So let's do these two, right? Since we're looking for x, I'll put x squared equals to the other two sides, edit, minus 2 times the other two sides, and cosine of the angle, which is 138. Actually, this will be easier, right? What do you need to do? Just put the whole thing into a calculator and square root it, right? So here I get 40 squared plus 40 squared minus 2 times 40 times 40 cosine of 138. Make sure your mode is in degrees, right? You just put the whole thing into the calculator. So 5578, 578.063, and my last step is what? Take square root on both sides. So again, just use the exact answer. Don't use our rounded answer. So it's second x squared to get square root, and copy the previous answer, negative, second negative. So you get 74.686. So x equals to 74.686. It was in centimeters. Nice and easy, right? These type of questions, yeah, you might see it on the SAT. Now they have a lot of trigonometry and geometry questions on USAT. Number 3, 2 angles of a triangle are 25 degrees and 60 degrees, and the longest side is 50 meters. Find the length of the shortest side. Always start drawing the triangle. So here I have 25 and 60. 25 degrees. And 60 degrees. And the longest side is 50 meters. So where should we put the longest side? What would you do first? Find this angle first. What would be that angle? 180 minus 60 minus 25 gives you 95. I know this is not drawing scale, but you should already know the longest side goes with the longest or greatest angle. So it has to be, the longest side must be over here, 50, right? Think about it. If you open the angle, if angle gets bigger, the sides gets longer. Angle gets smaller, side gets shorter. So what's the question then? Find the length of the shortest side. So it must be opposite to the smallest angle, which is this side right here. So then what would you do? Yeah, law of sine. So I have here matching side and angle, and here another matching side and angle with the side that we are looking for. So sine of 95 degrees over 50 equals to sine of 25 over x, law of sine, cross multiply them. So it's 50 sine of 25 equals to x times sine of 95. So now divided by sine of 95 from both sides. I get 50 sine of 25, press enter, divide by sine of 95. So I get 21 over 21.212. 1.212 what? Meters. For word problems, always include the units, right? 21.212 meters versus inches are different answers. So make sure you include the units. Good. Now, go ahead and work on